Hello everyone, welcome to the Beowulf Training Podcast with me, Ben.
And I'm Scotty.
Today we're talking about a life skill that we often apply through fitness, and it's a life skill that a lot of people need and a lot of people would definitely benefit from. That skill is consistency. So Scotty, what is consistency, and who are the kind of people that you think need consistency?
So consistency is in effect your ability to kind of, I suppose we're looking from a fitness perspective, is turning up day in, day out, week in, week out, and putting the hard yards in towards your goal basically, if we're looking at it from a fitness perspective. And answer your question in terms of who needs consistency, everyone.
Yeah. But in particular, so one of the ways that we like to describe it is, if you think of your goal, the end result, what you want to achieve through fitness in this case, but it kind of applies to anything as a path. Consistency is just the art of staying on the path towards that goal.
Yeah.
And so many people stray away from that path. They either change the goal, or they give up on the goal. It happens so much, when we say who needs the skill, it's the kind of people that fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
And it's not just the art of showing up in terms of the gym. It could be with your food, right? Like being consistent with your diet,
your sleep, hydration, everything. Yeah.
Everything. And it's something that people do really well with certain elements of their life. You think all my clients consistently show up to work. They consistently pick their kids up from school. There's never any lapse in that. There's no question in it. So it goes to show that anyone has the capacity to be consistent, but you need that purpose. You pick your kid up from school because if you don't, they're left stranded in the elements. If you don't show up to work, you get fired and you can't pay your bills. Fitness doesn't have that sense of that kind of intensity, right? It doesn't have that.
Well, there is, people don't find, or people don't buy into their why, do they? So with fitness, it's people, a lot of the time people know the repercussions of not being consistent with attending the gym, focusing on the diet, focusing on nutrition, resting through sleep and stuff. They know that a lot of the time if they don't do these things, it means they might put on excess weight, they'll be low energy, this kind of negative spiral where their health and fitness suffers. However, a lot of the time people aren't in the framework where that is a priority in their lives. It is a priority for them to go to work, and earn money to pay the bills, but they don't think long term in terms of the implications not being consistent with their fitness and their health can have.
So
what? Their life basically.
What is the potential outcome of not being consistent with your training, your health, your fitness?
Which one do you want to start with? Because there could be an entire, we could go, and list could go on.
Okay, so. With your training, just think about showing up to the gym. What happens if you never manage to find a way to build that life skill of consistency with your training? What are the potential repercussions with that?
So lack of mobility, lack of strength, deconditioning in terms of your cardiorespiratory system. Psychological factors, so you could kind of get ill health, or you can struggle mental health wise.
So you're answering them in quite technical terms, mobility. This is
okay.
To relate to the people.
Okay. Yeah. So if you it's a hard one, isn't it? We've actually had this conversation. We always kind of go around the kind of technicalities. So I suppose, all right. So if you don't go to the gym, you're going to struggle to be able to throw your kids in the air when they want to play at the park. When you sit down at a desk, going to get lower back pain and be in discomfort. You are going to get breathless when walking up the stairs. You're not going to look you're not going to like the way you look in the mirror. You're not going to feel like you can wear nice clothes when you go out on a night out. All these things will have a negative impact in terms of the way you feel, in terms of anxiety going out, these kind of things.
You're going to feel guilty because
Yeah.
you're not doing what you kind of know in your heart of hearts is good for you. You're going to, like you say, you're going to struggle to concentrate as well at work. You're going to put on fat more likely. You're going to lose muscle mass, the things that moves your bones, so that when you're older and you see other people your age going out for a run, you might be bound, into your chair. It sounds really like intense, and
it's true. It's realistic.
But it absolutely happens, and it might be that you're the kind of person that is suffering with these things right now. You're listening to it going, that's me, and consistency is probably a reason why you're feeling that way. If you're consistently going to the gym, you start to unlock how mobile you are. You can keep up with your kids, you can keep up with your grandkids, you can eat well and feel better for it, you can build muscle, you can lose fat, have shape, live your life in a better way. And it sounds really like we're being over the top here, but you can literally make your life better by being consistent. So it's absolutely worth doing. So how would you go about, if you've got one of these people presented to you, how would you help them build consistency? Someone they've been training really hard, and for whatever reason, they've been stressed or something like that, they've fallen off the path. How do you not only get them back on the path, but keep them on the path?
Goal setting is the biggest one. So
identify the path.
Yeah, identify the path, identify the goal, identify the purpose of why it's important for them to be consistent.
It's a big motivator, right?
It is, but then focusing not on the outcomes of the amount of percentage body fat they want to lose, or how much weight they want to see lost on the scales, or even how much weight they want to lift in the gym, but the personal outcomes in terms of why they're on this fitness journey. So like we're saying, I don't want to be getting to the point when I'm older, my kids are getting older and I'm not able to keep up with them. So that's the reason why it motivates me to train.
Do this workout. Yeah.
That makes sense. So really getting people to buy into the personal outcome or the purpose of why they'll be training in the first place.
And that's something that we've talked about in the past.
That's the first step, definitely.
Is if you're the kind of person that says, I want to lose weight, why do you want to lose weight?
Yeah.
And then when you answer that, why? Just keep asking yourself why. Just run into
that
the
annoying
ground.
child that's why, and unravel the goal to really get to its core purpose of why you're doing it in the first place.
So that's going to identify the path with the end goal in mind. I think the next thing you can do is then shape that path so it's better suited to your lifestyle. Like we can write amazing workouts that people would get results from, but if they don't do them because they get bored of them, or they're too difficult, or they take too much time up, they're going to fall off that path again. So we can shape the path, and sometimes it might make that end goal a little further away, take a little bit longer, but it keeps us on the path, it keeps us moving forward. So that could be something, I would always say scale it back to something that seems easy. Like adherence is the key, showing up like you said before. So how can you change your workout to make it super easy to show up? Do the things that you enjoy, reduce the duration it takes, get your friends involved, work out with a buddy. And it's going to be different for everyone, but trying to kind of shape your path into a way where it's a no-brainer that you can get it done. 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes 3 times a day, no brainer. And then you can actually, part of the skill is building on that and turning that 5 minutes into 10 minutes, turning that into a 15-minute run, turning that into a 30-minute gym session, just being so reasonable with yourself and appreciating that everyone has lapses in inconsistency. It's going to happen. When you do fall off the path, what's going to get you back on it as quickly as possible? And then what are you actually reasonably going to do and stay with and get into easier? So that's kind of the thing that I would. It's a really good kind of 2-pronged approach. Like, keep your end goal in mind. It's going to be a long-term goal.
Yeah. It has to be.
And I think that's a crux of consistency. And we look at it in both ways. You think like a gym session on its own is pretty useless. Doing one workout is pretty useless. It only makes sense in the context of the workouts before it and the workouts after it. Falling apart in it's a brick in a wall, right? And the same goes for when you do actions back. Missing a gym session, one gym session isn't the end of the world. Missing lots of them is. So if you miss a gym,
making sure that one missed session isn't the catalyst of missing
exactly, and feeling guilty and then letting it chain into that continued behaviour. It's right. It's one. I'm going to make this up by doing one tomorrow and getting back on that track straight away. Same as right, you ate something that you feel like you shouldn't have. You know, you had a pizza that night.
Don't dwell on it.
One pizza's not going to be the reason why you're overweight or you're not the weight you want to be. But if you keep going down that road and letting it snowball on you, then it will be. It will be that brick in a much larger wall. So what works well also, you know, how it benefits you also is how it undermines you in a weird way. It's getting that balance and kind of appreciating each action for what it is and being consistent with it. Cool. So we've kind of talked about like how you can go about being more consistent. Try just set yourself a kind of shorter term goal. So look at a section of your path and address that, get to that. So that might be something like I said earlier, like I'm going to train 3 times this week for 10 minutes. I'm going to do I'm going to show up to yoga class once a week. It could be something that simple. Do it until it feels easy and then progress into something else. That's the plan. Success will look like when you've done just that, right? When you've done it for, say, like, how long would you say it takes to build a habit?
Oh, there's loads of... I think a lot of the time if people get into a training habit and they do it consistently for 4 to 6 weeks, then generally you can then look at making changes.
And tweaking it.
Yeah. So, and again, it depends on training frequency, etc. But if someone's done it repetitively for that period of time, generally they've bought into it, you know. There's going to be there's going to be other things that come into life and come into play that could potentially derail people in a 4 to 6 week period, and that means that people have kind of overcome those challenges to show that they've been able to stay consistent. And then you're then in a position where you can then maybe add in another factor or a small change or build on that one thing to move them forward.
I think that's it. You've got to prove it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're there going, oh, that's going to be easy, but you've never actually done it before. Prove it. Like, show me. If you go, oh yeah, it's easy to go to the gym twice a week, but you've never done it that far. Prove it. Do it twice a week, and then think about 3 times a week. That kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you look back at the day. If you missed some of those sessions, say, and you weren't consistent, adjust accordingly. So scale it down. Find the problem and scale it to accommodate that problem. So if the problem is, well, getting to the gym just didn't fit into my day. It took too long. Home workout. Little things like that. To just counter, like, I grabbed a digestive biscuit when I really didn't want to have it. Don't buy digestive biscuits, you know. Scale it, be a bit more reasonable with yourself. Try find solutions to your problems directly. Cool, and that's consistency. That's a skill that you should absolutely be trying to build. Hopefully this helps shed some light on it. If you've got any questions, don't be afraid to ask us. Like we say, each circumstance, each person, each goal is unique. However, there'll be a lot of people that share your problems and have found solutions to it. I'm sure we've addressed.
And there'll be a lot of people that are in the same boat as you that would want solutions.
Exactly.
They might have the same questions, but they've never found a real kind of good solution that's going to work for them. So ask the questions.
Yeah, you can sit and do nothing and be inconsistent, and we've told you where that can get you, or you can ask a question. You can actually not be a victim to your situation and find a solution. So that's consistency. Time for a quick Q&A?
Yeah, man.
I've got one Q. We did have people messaging why there's if there'll be more bicep curls programmed in the gym aimed at you for the kind of CrossFit side of things. People asking for more bicep curls.
I suppose we gave them a little bit of a taste a couple of weeks ago, probably a month ago. So yeah, let the open get finished, and then we'll get an extra day of.
You need them. So
I do. I just feel like this jumper's starting to get a little bit. Slack.
Cool. Yeah. So the main question I drew was, what do you think of fitness trackers? Should I get one? So we're talking about the kind of wrists. Yeah. They are often wrist mounted, right? What do you think of them?
I don't think they're a bad thing. It gives you some form of data, whether it's, you know, I read something earlier. A guy called Ollie Marchand was saying about the margin of error is like 15 to 25% incorrect.
Either way.
So there's a
30 to.
There is a big margin of error potentially in terms of energy expenditure based on a wristwatch that tracks your heart rate, energy expenditure, etc., etc. So, however, you know, it's fantastic to have something that's going to be able to track some form of data. It might be steps, it might be, if you
calories,
whatever it is, and it gives you a benchmark that allows you to try and beat it. So rather than it being that you're just kind of guesstimating, it's the same as tracking calories on MyFitnessPal. You know, then
off food, it's
and
really hard.
All it is, it's just a measure. You know, it's just finding a measure that works for you, and then being able to have an ability to manipulate those measures to move forwards towards your goal. So, I think fitness trackers. I think that the problem I get a lot of the time, and again, it's been a shift in the fitness industry, is people just think and focus so much on their fitness tracker. They focus, and I think it's this whole thing about being in a calorie deficit. Everyone's constantly looking at how many calories did I burn in my workout, without realising that, it's easier to not put calories in through food than it is to actually go to the gym and burn those calories off. They are a positive thing, but use them for what you need them for, rather than becoming really reliant on it as this exact tool of.
I think the people that they work really well for are the people that don't do anything. They're on the sofa and they get a fitness tracker, and it makes them get up and move a little bit more.
Yeah, it vibrates when you've been inactive for too long. So when you've been sat down, it basically buzzes to tell you to get up.
Right. Yeah.
Particularly for people, we've got clients that, they work up in the city and they have no structured lunch break, and if they're immersed in their work and the work has to be done by a deadline, they won't leave their desk. So you've got something that's in effect doing this, saying get up. Do you know what I mean? It might be just get up and walk around the office. At least it's doing something productive towards your health. Yeah. It's going to help you in that regard. So
I think if it makes you walk more, it makes you go for a run, it makes you move more than you typically would, that's only ever a good thing. If it inspires movement, then I'm all for it. I couldn't recommend one to get. I've got a client that's got a Fitbit.
Yeah, Charlotte's got a Fitbit.
Pete's got a Fitbit, and that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, one of my other clients got a Garmin. Again, you can get loads of different technical watches and stuff. Even your iPhone, if you just have your iPhone in your pocket, it counts your steps.
Yeah.
Already, and if you've got an Apple Watch that's synced with your iPhone, then that does it as well, and it gives you data that you can analyse, and it can get really, really complicated. When realistically, you should just focus on one metric, one set of numbers. Yeah. That might be, I'm just going to focus on steps as a measure of me increasing my output, or my energy expended throughout the day. If I'm moving more and taking more steps, generally it's going to be contributing towards my health in some way.
Works quite well with consistency as well, doing X number of steps per day.
Like the amount of and again, it's one of those things. I think it's when you get a new toy, you use the toy all the time. So when people get their watch, they use their watch for like the first couple of weeks, and then it kind of loses its initial excitement. It's again that consistency of like, all right, when it starts buzzing at me, I'm not just going to ignore it. I'm actually going to get up and do something.
That means grab a beer out the fridge.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Change what that
changes purpose.
Means.
Yeah. Cool. In terms of should I get one, I guess it depends on you where you're at in your journey. If you're already quite active,
budget.
It's probably not the first thing I'd really worry about too much. But if you lead quite a sedentary lifestyle, why not? Could incite some of that movement, which we're all for.
Yeah, I think it definitely highlights it. So people that are inactive, when people get watched, they realise actually, oh my god, my heart rate's quite high. Or,
I think a lot of people.
I don't actually do that much. I don't actually do that much throughout the day.
A lot of people think they're more active than they actually are,
without a doubt.
And it's quite shocking. I get people that say, "Well, I've got quite an active job. I'm on my feet all the time," and it's something that's it might be like a teacher. I'm not saying teachers aren't good people or anything, but it's not like what I'd compare it to something like a builder or something, which is what I would consider an active job where you're moving a lot. Like, teachers are on their feet.
But also there's a certain level of adaptation to that, like when people say, didn't go to the gym today, but I did some gardening. You're like,
it's not the same.
That's your normal life.
Yeah.
But that's what your body is used to, day in, day out. It's like, I'm running the garden on Saturday. Well, actually, your body's adapted to that. It's accommodated that. It functions by doing that activity. It's about going above and beyond the activity that you normally would do. Going out in the garden, or I've gone for a walk. Yeah, that's cool.
But it's not quite the same.
No, it's not.
It's like personal training is not an active job. It's in an active environment. But when I'm coaching, I'm watching people lift weights.
The only thing I'd say is we're on our feet. That's it.
But
we're not doing reps. On your feet doesn't really.
on your feet as opposed to just standing and watching, the difference in energy expenditure is pretty minimal in comparison. You know, it's not like, oh, I've been on my feet all day so I can eat this chocolate gatto. It's like, nah. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's like,
have you not seen the energy one?
It's not a workout.
I'm just doing star jumps for like an hour, like 5 hours on the bounce.
The most actually might be that you help someone put the weights away, but you don't even do that, do you? You're like,
nah, fuck it, you do it. No, of course I do. Of course I do. I'd be like, yeah, John, put the weights away, mate. Gonna go for a coffee.
If someone's done farmers walks, I always put it back for them. So just
or like deadlifting, like heavy deadlifting.
Yeah, you don't.
The worst thing about deadlifting session is putting the plates away.
Yeah, were you putting your 2.5s?
Mate, they're heavy. They're heavy.
Sorry, I'm rinsing you a bit today.
You are.
Cool.
That's
consistency, guys. Be consistent in listening to the Belf Training Podcast every week. See you later, gang.